if you were in the opening ceremony, you probably heard the shout out that I gave to Sarah, because she's been part of the team, basically. She's been supporting us with communication at Rebuild. And yeah, when I think of Sarah, it's like, you know, she's super creative. She's a problem solver, analytical thinking. But like, I think like I learned recently like this phrase of like, what could go right? So instead of like, what could go wrong, what could go right? I think that like the image of Sarah just pops to mind. And she's leading a seed brand studio out of Istanbul. It's a project that supports other projects that create impact, and Sarah is helping them to tell their story from a human-centered perspective. So in the Rebuild setting, well, a lot of us, there's like two ways you can go about communities. You can have a group of visionary, you can have a community already that finally lands onto a land and they ground their vision, and that's one way to go about it. And there's also visionary that start a project and then they're left with like searching for their tribe and for their community. So Sarah is going to introduce us how can we apply the marketing solutions to the village building? Like, how can we like focus and find the target audience that would fit with our villages? And I'll pass the mic to Sarah.
Thank you, baby. So it is just like 22 minutes left, which is like freaking me out. But like normally I just do the introductions for 30 minutes, but it's going to be, everything is going to be in 20 minutes right now. So welcome you all. The topic is like how projects can boost their support and attract people to join their tribes. But I took it super simply because I also want this session to serve you in your own projects right now, also for your community's tribes, and maybe the recent projects that you have been like working on your product. So it's going to be a general marketing perspective for you to understand, or like maybe I can help you to reach your target audience, like creating the bridge between your product and your target audience. So you can just like implement it, any ideas that you have right now. So yes, just like quick recap for myself, please, just 1 minute. I'm a founder and a business manager of Seed Brand Studio, as Annie told. I'm a marketeer, so I help brands to develop their brand identities, designing their communication strategies, and running their target-oriented like campaigns. And I am also a facilitator. I do ideation and innovation coaching for brands to finding new and creative ideas for their business problems. So today is about a product. So I want you all to, because today at the end of this session, you're going to hand over many questions for you to think through later. And this is going to be a guide because it's a super short session. So think about your product, please. It could have been a project, a service, an object, anything, sunglasses or sofa, couch, furniture. Your community tribe could be a website, an application, could have been anything. So our purpose is reaching your target audience, your people, that we're going to be now developing the bridge between your product and your people today, to be able to, for you to reach your right people. And the aim is like creating love and sympathy between your product and your target audience, obviously. But while we are talking about what are we going to do and how are we going to do, I want all of you to also, like, first of all, focus on what you have in your hand first. What I mean is like your product needs to be validated. Let's think about your community and tribe first of all. Is your product is enough? I want all of you to ask yourself. I'm going to be now having you different questions, and I want you to just like try to look at your product 360, if it's enough, if it's unique, if it's like needed. So the first question is like, what is the reason for your community's existence? Why it's there? What problem does your community solve? Is it really needed? What holds people together in your community? What are the experiences? What is your promise? What are you there? What is the benefit for people? What's in it for them? would people notice that if your community didn't exist today? If it's really needed, this is actually validation of this, like if I'm needed, if this community is needed. What are the experiences that people cannot find elsewhere and only find in you? What makes you unique? What is special about your community? What makes your community unique, like exactly, that no other communities have? What are your strengths? You need to have your unique selling point. What makes you unique that people can only find in you that no other has? Because this is also what, because this is the reason I call this a product, because there is an industry, there is a market that you're going to go into, and you want to be selected by a group of people which your community is serving to. So you can only be selected in this crowd world, in this crowd, like advertisements, like too many brands, too many communities, this crowd, because communication is like super easy recently. You need to stand out, and to be able to stand out, you need to know your strength points and uniqueness about yourself. That is going to be so easy for your target audience to select you. You're going to be shining, right? So let's say now you validated, because if you cannot answer these questions, this is also perfect. Now you know that you don't have this unique selling point. You need to find your uniqueness into these questions. Let's say now you have this perfect product. You feel like this is okay. If my target audience will see this, they are going to get crazy about it. And how am I going to create this bridge between my product and my target audience? So at the end of this session, you're gonna see the map between these like product and target audience. So you can just like take a screenshot of this, or like I can hand over this presentation. So it's gonna be kind of like the guidance for this. So your people is going to be the best friend of your product, your brand, whatever you are promising for. So first of all, to be able to like make this connection, make this love, first thing, understanding your target audience very well as your best friend, because only best friends can talk to each other, right? Now, like this connection needs to be like filled with love. So to be able to do that, you need to be able to understand them very well. And how? And this is actually a methodology that I can advise you. And normally in like, what we get used to is like quantitative researches, survey-based researches, right? Where we understand what our target audience are doing and at what time they're going to work, how long they work, or like what type of things they buy. But the only answer can come from here, like the survey-based questions are what are they doing? But what we need to understand is like why? Why are they doing? What is the motivation behind? What are the emotions? What are the fears? This is the only way you can have a better like capture and understanding from your target audience. So what I advise you to like, you don't have to have hundreds of people, only like maybe 4 or 5 or 10 of them. And you can have a face-to-face conversations and try to ask them why many times to reach their emotions. Because like, you know, the 5 why like rules, if you ask a person 5 times in a row, why, at the end of the day, you're going to reach their like deeper emotions, like about their actions. So there are 4 pillars of understanding our target audience. One is demographic. We all know age, sex, geographically, their emotions, are they like marital status and everything. And psychographic part is like how they perceive life. What are the motivations? What are the fears? What are the happiness about like their actions, like understanding the why behind them, what type of person, what kind of person they are like. The third one is like the category that you're going to get into. So about this category, if it's about sustainability, if it's about regenerative, is it about like the FMCG, could have been anything. In this category, what are their behaviors? What they have been doing before you? What are they doing right now? What are they planning to do about this category? So you're going to see your place in it. So you're going to be in it at the end of the day. And the fourth one is media behavior. Because the most important part of this, like the bridge is like the media, which media they are using and which motivation. Now, next slide, I'm going to be talking about the channels. And but here, the first thing that we need to do, like which channels they're using the most, at what time, and which motivation. Because some social media is like for people, for some occasions, it's just for fun. Maybe they don't even get your messages. That's why it's really important why and which channel people are using and why again. Our thing is like asking why, because this is the only way we get our like the capture their emotions very well. Let's say you have the perfect product and you know your target audience very, very well. The next step is your communication strategy, which includes channels, frequency, format, and consistency. So what I mean by channel is like, we all have limited sources because we are like small or medium scale companies, like most of the time, like the economic system is like based on small and medium companies. And we have really limited source, like manpower, time, budget, and everything. So there are also varieties of like many social media platforms. I see that people are trying to be available, be online in all. So they're just like dividing their power to 10 instead of like, imagine you put your 10 of the power for one media channel and make a difference in this channel by how you use your account. Like be creative, putting like amazing contents and using your time in this channel so you make a difference in that channel so you can stand out again. So you don't have to use all, just look at your target audience, ask which media channels they're using and with which motivation, and try to be there first of all, and try to use it properly, like how TV was like doing broadcasting before. Don't take it for granted, the social media, it's so powerful, but we need to be also different there, be creative, be new, and like to be able to stand out. Make your own media mix. And the frequency, like what is the frequency? Like, are you going to post like every day, 3 times a day, like two times a week? It's also depends on your target audience again. Your format, is it going to be a blog post? Do they like to read? Is it going to be a short format of videos? Is it going to be reels? Is it going to be like a documentary type of like movies? It's also, again, depends on what your target audience are like accepting to receive from you. I get message, sorry. Here's the link. Okay, that was the link. I thought it's a question. So the consistency is very important because you never know when your target audience are going to react to you. Some people are reacting from the first tweet, like some people are gonna like react to you like maybe not even about the frequency, but it's about the time. So they need to be seeing you consistently on the platforms that they are using, and you need to see their reaction level. That's why your credibility is like, or your trust is like coming from your consistency. Don't give up, make a plan and try to like be consistent and have feedback. So this is going to be your communication strategy. When you put it that way, you're going to know when are you going to do what. And the thing is like, not only by the channels, but what we need is also the content. Content is the key. And I guess we are all like struggling every day by this like content ideas and how are we gonna like tell our messages, what are we gonna say, and how is the content is gonna be, how is the format is gonna be. And that's why I divided in this section in 2. One is insightful messages, one is creative ideas, which is content. So through our messages, again, it's a sin for marketeers not to talk about Simon Sinek. So everybody knows about like starting why, right? And why is like, we know what we do. This is an example from Apple, sorry. What are they doing is basic. They make computers. How are they doing it? Their products are beautifully designed and easy to use. This is how. But the reason at the center is why, the core essence of why their business is existing, right? And this is like their why is we believe to changing this status quo and doing this differently. Every brand has this why. And you need to, first of all, ask yourself why we are doing this. And coming through like what, how, and why, you're going to be able to, even if you don't have, you're going to have it at the end of the session with yourself, or maybe you can just like bring it out with an amazing sentence. So before you start like designing your message, I strongly advise you to understand why you are doing your business or community or organization. What is the purpose? So through this like point of view, I brought you an example. How are you going to design your communication messages? Let's say there is a nut milk, plant-based, vegan. Why, starting from why, you know, from the circle, nut milk is nut milk. Why do they do this? to live a beautiful life/world to the next generations. At the end of the day, it's consuming less water, less harmful for environment, less harmful for your body, and like it's vegan, you know, like at the end of the day, the purpose of like creation of this product is like leaving a better world for the next generation. This is a deeper know-how. So without the why, let's create our nut milk message. Do you want to buy nut milk today? Would you like to buy with this question? Because by the way, before the right answer, there needs to be the right question. If you ask the right question, right answers are going to come. So when you change your messages to killer message through your whys, it's going to look like this. Do you want to physically and mentally be healthy for your baby this morning? Because from nut milk, maybe my target audience is moms who is taking care of their self or your babies. Their child is the key, and this is how I can only like pass my message to my target audience, because your message needs to make sense for people. Otherwise, it's gonna be just like go to the universe, like where nobody is gonna read or like react. It's gonna be any other like messages on social media or the platforms that you've been using. So your message needs to be insightful. To be able to make it more insightful, you need to have a better understanding of your product and your target audience emotions and priorities. That's why your target audience needs to be your brand and your best friend. That's the only way you can have the better knowledge of your target audience. And how are you going to develop your content ideas? Because this is also a huge struggle. And this is going to be just an example how we work on content. And what we do is like we create some like columns, and then we just name the columns and like brainstorm underneath how it looks like. Your brand story, definitely a huge caption. Just try to ask yourself the right questions again. What is your brand essence? What is my vision? Where is my brand is like heading for? Where are we going to? This is a great vision for you to just like turn it to a content. Even if there is no other content, I could have just create like a 1-year content out of your brand story. So just like ask yourself better questions, that your better questions are going to lead you creative new ideas. And maybe functionality. What are the key functions of your community, of your product? Could have been any other like content columns. Occasions, how can you be part of us? Answer of these can give you a variety of like content ideas. Benefits, what's in it for people? Try to show what is waiting for them. What are the experiences? What is the takeout? Credibility functions. This is also very important. Maybe you can show your numbers, how many people that you're together with you, how many people trusting you. Credible people are partners, are member of your community. Who are you working with, together with? This is also a credibility functions. Very important. Emotional benefits. How we promise to make you feel like. How are you going to feel like when you be part of us? How are you going to think that you look like when you be part of us? This is the feeling. Everybody is like chasing after feelings, right? And events and announcements, obviously, this is how we done for Rebuild. And normally we could have been talking more about our community. We have like amazing like experiences and benefits, but like recently what we've been focusing on, like if you go to our social media, events and announcements were like taking a huge part of our communication recently. So take your product, ask yourself like better questions, like divide them and like try to brainstorm around it. So when you implement it with your create like insightful messages, your contents are going to be like really making sense. And when it comes to community, try to make it interactive, like ask them questions, involve them, like take them some like initiatives for you and like ask questions and like make some surveys and make them like include to your like communication strategy, or like maybe even like designing new ideas and stuff. They can definitely be part of it. So what do we expect?
Sarah, just to interrupt you. So we have, I would like to like also get like a couple of questions from the audience, even if even so we can get it a little bit interactive. You can go finish up and let's take a couple of questions. Okay.
Just a very few things are left. Okay. What we expect from all these like strategy, first of all, what we are trying to do is like getting the reaction, like, comments and interacting with you. After the reaction, there will be coming the trial. If you promise on your message and if you have the reaction, you have to deliver your promise. And the trial is gonna take you to trust. If you like keep your promise on your messages and when they try it, they see that it's true, then the trust is coming. And after the trust, if they see you do it again, the love and the loyalty is coming. And this is how you just grow your target audience and community, basically. So jumping into my last thing, when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Just make it more specific, try to understand them, touch to their hearts of your target audience. And like to be able to do that, have a super understanding of your target audience. Thank you so much. Annie, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Amazing. If you have the possibility to download this presentation and share it with whoever is here, that would be great. And I would just I would love to ask if there's any question, like just take this opportunity and ask Sarah. She's here to like answer your doubts, questions. Maybe we take 2 questions.
I've got a question. I'm curious where might there be like some unique variables that communities run into when storytelling and marketing versus businesses, especially when it comes to processes around how to unify the vision of a group into kind of a streamlined narrative versus maybe with a normal startup, there's like a founder with a really specific vision, you know, and they kind of gather a team around that. It's a little bit more organic in a community. Where might there be some differences there?
But brands also have communities, by the way. I know it's commercial, but like there needs to be one essence that people gather around. So it's going to be the core, but around this core, people definitely can bring their visions. It's going to be more like richer, you know, like it's going to be more various. It's going to be amazing. But at the end, like the core needs to be there. So people are going to be sticking to it. So to be able to do that, like people are going to go on the right direction altogether. So the purpose is going to be also the purpose of the group. So that's why the vision and maybe the core needs to be there, even it's like going to be a very simple thing. Then the other visions are going to be including them and make it a bigger vision. That's what I would do. That's what I would say. Does it make sense? Because like in other communities, I also see that like there is one big purpose, and around this one big purpose, people are bringing their own unique, amazing visions together. Then it's going to go wider and various.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm.
What's your experience in using paid content promotion when it comes to actually building a community? When on the paid, it's the same. Like when you have a really good, better understanding of like, try to create a persona, give them a name, because this is what we done with Rebuild as well, and give them a name. And like on paid, on every like paid, let's say Facebook Business Manager, which includes Messenger, Instagram, and Facebook. When you're targeting your target audience there, it gives you various of information. Like you can give their like interest, like sports, like lifestyle. You can like give them demographic data, and it's going to be really specific. And then you're going to have your target audience in the paid marketing as well. And these like algorithms are working perfectly when they try to like when you put your target audience and it started to work, and like the fact like it's selecting the people who are reacting your target, like reacting your ads, and like there is a lookalike copying that profile and make it bigger. So the algorithms are working perfectly for you. So the first thing you need to do is like describe your target audience very well for you to be able to enter all these informations to the paid marketing systems. So the other algorithms are working for yourself, for your brand, and for your campaign. The first thing is like understanding and describing them, I would say. Thank you for the question again.
Amazing. Thank you for the question. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. I think it's really valuable. We tend to like go into like building communities and building villages and trying to like reject the systems that are out there in place. But we also have to actually like, it's a lot of value of like trying to get the best out of like the systems that are in place and implement into what we're doing. So it doesn't mean that we cannot have a regenerative growth by using some of these methodologies. So yeah, very valuable information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll give like a few minutes for everyone to have like the opportunity for a bio break before the next session. And yes, just find Sarah on the platform. You can write her directly. I also put the link here if you want information or connect with her for more specific questions.